I'm Orla Quinlan, the Director of Global Engagement Division at Rhodes University. So I'm just going to tell you a little about what we did for Africa Month at Rhodes University this year. As many of you will know, Africa Union celebrate May as Africa Month every year, and then May the 25th is Africa Day. This is commemorating the initiation of the Organization of African Unity in 1963. The OAU later became the Africa Union, actually in Durban, South Africa in 2002. So the theme is picked every year for the whole year, and this year it is about prioritizing education for the 21st century. So what kind of education do Africans need for the 21st century? Which is a question everyone is asking globally. So this year we decided we would do a series of activities on campus, including we did some campaigns on the university screens. So you will see there's various information rolling on all the screens at the university about the formation of the Africa Union, about facts about all the African countries, some interesting facts about high achievers on the African continent. We also have profiles of some of our international students, the majority of whom are from the African continent. We also organised some panel discussions, including the importance of international staff and students at a university, because the majority of our international staff and students are also from the African continent. We had some displays around the university, including at the library, and some interactive activities with our students, getting them to engage with this question of what does it mean to have a 21st century education? What would that mean to them? We also organised a series of public talks in collaboration with different departments and schools and divisions across the university. So, of course, notably, the first public lecture was the Emeritus Professor Kwesi Kwa-Pra, who is a prominent sociologist and linguist who has driven Pan-African language development projects across the continent through the Centre of Advanced Studies of African Society, which he founded. And he delivered a public lecture here on campus called Culture, Language and Africa's Future. We also had a second public lecture in collaboration with the School of Languages and Literature and our various other departments across the university. And in this one we hosted Zimbabwean-born award-winning novelist and filmmaker Tsitsi Dangarembga, who delivered, we also worked in collaboration with the MASWI, the South African Museum of Literature, and she delivered a lecture called Decolonizing and the Southern African Subject. What are we up against and how do we push back? So while all this was happening, the Politics and International Relations Department also hosted a series of events this month, including a public lecture by Dr. Andrews Atta Asamoah, who is the head of the African Peace and Security on Governance Programme with the Institute for Security Studies. And he basically gave an overview of the state of the Africa Union as it is in 2024. They also hosted an event with Advocate Vusi Pikoli on 30 years of democracy in South Africa. We also had a lot of external engagements pertaining to the concerns of the Agenda 2063 for Africa, the Africa we want. We also were engaged about SDGs. So community engagement hosted a conference in Makanda, where they invited various speakers, local and international speakers. And then there also was a colloquium on environmental sustainability on campus. The Vice-Chancellor, myself and 8 other researchers actually spent a week in Sweden at the South African Swedish University Forum at their Research and Innovation Week. So not only did we do the Research and Innovation Week in 3 universities in South Sweden, which was Lund, Malmo and SLU, we also, there were also workshops and satellite events. So there was a lot of engagement around appropriate teaching and learning for sustainable education, and several of our lecturers, as well as presenting papers, also ran workshops and satellite events. So we brought a little bit of Africa up to Sweden for a week during this month. We also, the Vice Chancellor is currently attending the African Research Universities Alliance, ARUA, which is one of our big networks. It is 16 research intensive universities across Africa with whom we have a lot of intensive engagement and plans for the future, notably building PhD capacity across the continent for the future. And they have a website which gives their full strategic plan. And then just yesterday I attended the Southern Africa Regional Universities Association, AGM, which is another one of our networks in which we're engaged. So we try to almost focus on different aspects of Africa at every different level of our engagement, from our research, our teaching and learning, our community engagement, our institutional culture. And then today, to celebrate Africa Day itself, we've invited all of our staff and postdocs to come and, you know, dress up in African attire. So we've gone from the very serious discussions to the more enjoyable cultural aspects today. There will be some more panel discussions, and there will be some more briefings for various students and staff on some of the contemporary immigration issues, for example. So that is yet to come in the week ahead. But in many ways, we feel that just approaching Africa Day today is almost like this is the highlight, and we will now begin to wind down with some other lower key activities for the rest of the month. But I think it's important that we always remind ourselves that, you know, we are part of a bigger continent, that this is the continent of the future. Over half of the population are young people. In most other parts of the world, the population is beginning to age, and they're not replacing the population in the same way. So the future is really going to be held in the hands of Africa, and, you know, it's up to us to prepare our students and the people we engage with for a sustainable future. So I think that's why it's really important that we celebrate and draw attention to these things at this time of the year. Okay, thank you.